lifelong shelter, it was one of those rainy Houston evenings when the city seemed to slow down under the weight of gray skies and constant drizzle. Streetlights shimmered off slick pavements, and the scent of wet earth mixed with coffee from nearby cafes. Amid the blurred outlines of umbrellas and hurried footsteps, 22-year-old Aisha stepped out of the medical clinic after another grueling double shift. Her scrubs were damp, and the cheap umbrella she'd picked up from a dollar store had turned inside out and snapped earlier that day. Now, as she stood at the curb waiting for the bus, rain trickled down her back. She hugged her backpack tightly, her textbooks slightly protected beneath the flap. Finals were around the corner. She hadn't eaten properly in 2 days, and sleep had become a stranger dot as she waited at the corner near a convenience store. Her eyes landed on a bench beneath the rusted awning of a closed flower shop. A man sat there, dry and composed, holding a large, black umbrella that seemed to shelter not just his body, but his calm demeanor too. He looked about 60, with a beard peppered gray and eyes that held stories and perhaps sadness. Their eyes met. Aisha quickly looked away. "Miss, you're soaked," the man said, his voice carrying warmth. "Would you like to share this umbrella?" Aisha hesitated. Kindness from strangers was rare. She'd grown up being told to keep her head down, to not trust easily. But there was something about the man, his tone, his calm, that disarmed her defenses. "Are you sure? What about you?" she asked. "I've got this awning. And a dry seat. You, on the other hand, look like a soaked kitten. Come, the umbrella's big enough for both." She stepped under, her side barely touching his. "Thank you." "I'm Asha." "Rafiq," he replied. "Just Rafiq." Silence settled between them, soft like the rain on the umbrella fabric. "You work at that clinic?" "Yeah, nursing student, last semester." "You look tired." She chuckled wearily. "I am, but not defeated." "That's the difference." Aisha looked up at him. There was no pity in his tone, only quiet recognition. "Do you live around here?" she asked. Rafiq smiled, the corners of his eyes crinkling. "I live wherever it doesn't rain," she blinked. "Are you homeless?" He didn't flinch. "By some standards, yes. But I prefer the word unsettled. Life unsettled me, and I stopped chasing walls." The bus pulled in. Aisha paused. "Thank you again, Rafiq, for the shelter." "Take care, Aisha." The next evening, the rain returned. And so did Aisha, this time with 2 cups of vending machine tea. Rafiq was on the same bench. "Evening," she said, holding out a cup. He accepted it with a nod. "I'm honored. Not many return after kindness." "Well, not many offer umbrellas, so I guess we're both rare." They talked that night, about books, about cities, about silence. Rafiq told her he was once a professor of Urdu literature back home. He came to the U.S. in search of peace after losing his wife and son in a road accident. His credentials didn't carry weight here. He worked odd jobs, then no jobs. Slowly, he let go of expectations. He read in libraries, wrote poetry in old notebooks, and walked the streets of Houston like a quiet observer of a world that never paused. In the weeks that followed, Aisha began looking forward to the end of her shifts. Rain or not, she stopped by with tea or leftovers. They sat and talked or said nothing at all. Some nights, Rafiq recited poetry. Some nights, she vented about exams and bills and the aching loneliness of chasing dreams alone. One night, she found him shivering. He tried to brush it off, but she noticed the bluish tinge in his fingers. "You need real shelter. This is madness." "The world is mad, Aisha. I'm just weathering it." She didn't accept it. She took him to her tiny apartment, a 1-bedroom she rented with the help of 3 part-time jobs. He protested, but she insisted. "You gave me an umbrella. Let me give you a roof, just for a few nights." A few nights became a week. Then more. Rafik became part of her home, her routine, her calm. He helped her study, cooked when he could, and once again became a teacher, not of subjects, but of life. One evening, as they drank tea by the window, Aisha asked, "Do you ever wish you could go back? Start over?" "No," he said. "I've made peace with the past, but I do wish I'd been less proud. Asked for help sooner. Trusted kindness." Inspired, Aisha wrote about him on a blog. She didn't expect much. But the story, borrowed umbrella, lifelong shelter, went viral. People were moved. Donations poured in. A non-profit offered to help. Together they launched Uncle Rafik's Kindness Cafe. It served free tea and snacks to students, the homeless, and anyone in need of comfort. Rafik became a local celebrity. News channels interviewed him. A shy girl once whispered, "Thank you for reminding people kindness still exists." Aisha graduated with honors. Rafik cheered the loudest at her ceremony, but time, as always, moved on. Rafik's health declined. One winter morning, Aisha found him peacefully asleep in his armchair, a notebook of poetry open in his lap. He'd written one final letter. "My dearest Aisha, you gave me something far more than shelter, you gave me purpose. You saw a broken man and chose to listen instead of turning away. That is rare. The world needs more umbrellas, more listeners, more kindness cafes. Continue what we started. Let every cup of tea serve as a reminder that shelter can be borrowed. But compassion must be shared. With endless love, Uncle Rafik." Today, the cafe still stands, its walls filled with photos, laughter, and warmth. Aisha runs it between shifts at the hospital. And one rainy evening, a young girl walks in, soaked and shivering. Aisha hands her a towel and a cup of tea. "Welcome," she says with a smile. "You're safe here." Just like she was once, under an umbrella with a man who had no home but gave her one anyway.